मैं बोलूँ कि कुछ चीज़ें जो वाटरलू होता है जिससे कि बड़ा प्रोफेशनली आपके ग्रोथ में या आपके which has helped me broaden my vistas. So one has been the deputation and the second has been my UN missions. Or I would say the first has been my UN missions because those were what I did right in the beginning. And second was the deputation with Government of India. They have been amazing places that I have worked. So what I am is just because of these exposures that I have got and the opportunities that I got there. तो UN मिशन ये है कि भाई क्योंकि इसीलिए कि इतने सारे कंट्री के पुलिस ऑफिसर्स के साथ आप काम करते हैं कि आपको कल्चरली बहुत ग्रो कर जाते हैं. You come to know people from all walks of life and you see places which are difficult situations and at the same time you interact with the officers from more than 70-80 countries or even more. तो एक ये बड़ा ज़बरदस्त आपका ग्रोथ हुआ है. तो मेरा उसी में सबसे पहले जैसे मैं बोस्निया हर्जेगोविना गया था way back in 97-98 because I'm 95 batch. So just after probation I went. So straight from you can say that straight from the academy I was in a UN mission. तो in those days it was not that stringent. तो उसके बाद में फिर second 2004-05 में मैं कोसोवो गया and 2009 में वाइफ जब ईस्ट तिमोर गई थी तो मैं उनके साथ 6 महीने के लिए वहाँ उनके साथ रहा. तो इसीलिए ये एक बड़ा मेरा बेनिफिशियल रहा. उसके बाद when I went as a Hubert Humphrey Fellowship to USA, that again it helped me a lot because that was a great exposure and experience that I got. And I was already working on human trafficking subject and I got a chance to at least do presentations in more than 40 places. And I went to Boston University, सारे आप Georgetown, George Mason, Buffalo, ये सारे यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में जाके मिनियापोलिस में था ही हर 5वें-6वें दिन कहीं ना कहीं प्रेजेंट करता रहता. So that helped me a lot. But when I came to central government deputation first as CARA, Chief CEO CARA, Central Adoption Resource Authority. So that helped me translate my vision into action. That is one thing which I was unable to do when I was in state. Because it's a very stringent hierarchical structure in police. So you depend a lot on your bosses. But when you come to an autonomous body and particularly Government of India, so you have given that much of freedom that you can implement what you want. And if you have a good vision, you can do that. So the online system of adoption we brought in 2014. There was a big change happening, paradigm shift in adoption system. And there was reason. We did it after doing a lot of research. Like how do we stop institutional trafficking, if I have to use that word? When the children were being picked from specialized adoption agencies by just by negotiation from many places, not exactly from all places, but there were many places where it used to happen. So this thing brought in a level playing ground. So that is one experience in CARA that I had. That was an amazing experience that I had. Then I moved to Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan as Executive Director and Director National Service Scheme. So those are the biggest organizations in the country working with youth. So at one time we had more than 1 crore youth connected to these organizations, and I was fortunate enough to be in both organizations at one time. So that also helped me to understand the youth. That India right now, the average age of the Indian population is 29, and as per the 2014 youth policy, the age bracket for a person to be considered to be youth is up to 29, 15 to 29. So India is a youth country by age. So working with youth helped me a lot. But again, there I learned that the concept of volunteerism that we have been talking about is more aimed from Western world rather than what we used to have, traditionally or in ancient scriptures which is written. Because volunteerism is in our blood. Indian system में, Indian blood में volunteerism है. But unfortunately, हम लोग उसको फॉलो ही नहीं करते. तो वो मुझे गुंजाइश मिला यूथ पे काम करने का और उस पे करने के लिए. So that helped me a lot to grow, to understand youth from a national perspective. Pan India, I got a chance to interact with them. When I came to NISD, National Institute of Social Defense, then we had 4 mandates. One was working with transgender. Second was working with drug dependents. Third was senior citizens, and fourth was beggary. So that again was a great experience because for the first time I could understand what transgender persons are, what they go through. And that is what I have written. My latest book is going to come, which is being published by Routledge. Everything is done. and if everything goes well, perhaps it should come by next month. So that is book on transgender. So I understood, learned that this is one community perhaps which is most marginalized community in Indian society. And as we call it, they are visibly invisible because we see them every day, but we hardly think about them. So that moved me a lot. And so I started connecting with them. So I always feel like at home when I'm with transgenders and discussing with them their issues, their area of work, and how to mainstream them, how to make it more inclusive. So wherever we go, we try to do that. I mean, even I have left NIST, it's been more than 2 years now, almost 2 years now. So, but still, wherever I get opportunity, I talk to transgender persons. So, so the NIST was a place where I learned that always we should not see things from criminal justice system lens. Many things we need to see from a social justice system lens. Like a drug dependent. As a police officer, if a drug dependent, or as we call it, drug addict, comes to us, we'll say that, okay, अरे यार ये तो नशेड़ी है, लो इसको बंद करो, और या नहीं तो इसको होश में लाओ, इसके माँ बाप के पास दे के आ जाओ. That is how you react. Not understanding that if a person has become a drug dependent, it is because of your failure. It is our failure, that when he was getting into drugs, when he was moving from a used stance to abuse stand, we did not help him. तो ये सारा जो लेंस, जो देखने की चीजें जो बदली है, नजरिया बदला है, वो इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में काम करने के बाद बहुत बदला.